Hi everyone, welcome to another mentorship session on BLDG 1022, that is the Building Structures course. Today we are going to discuss a case study paper on the same course that we compiled for 3 yearly sessions from 2017 to 2019. The lecturer for this course has been Dr. Samad and I'm Fahim Ullah. I'm a PhD student in construction management and I'm towards the end of my PhD. And this was one of the case study project that we took while I was helping Dr. Samad with this course. So the title of this paper is Examining the Impact of Students' Attendance, Sketching, Visualizations, and Tutors' Experience on Their Performance. And the case study is of this building structure course in the field of construction management. This paper has been published in the Journal of Construction Economics and Buildings. It is published on 15 September 2020, and you can find the link as described on your screen to this paper. Okay, so before I go into the details of the paper, let me share some key points and key findings from this paper. That is, this case study paper involved 633 students from non-engineering backgrounds. The sessions covered are from 2017 to 2019. As far as the assessment is concerned, we had a quiz, an assignment with 40% weightage, and a final exam with 30% weightage in 2017 and 2018 sessions, whereas in 2019 session, the weightage of the final exam was increased to 40%. Similarly, the attendance threshold was set at 75%. That means anyone having less than 75% attendance was regarded as having lower attendance. Similarly, the students with 75% and above attendance were regarded as having good attendance. So the results show that there is a 14% overall marks gap between the students with less than 75% attendance and the ones with 75% attendance and above in 2017. This means that the students who attended the classes regularly secured 14% extra marks on average than the one who attended the class less regularly. Similarly, in 2018, a gap of 10% marks was observed for the students who attended the classes more regularly as compared to those who were less regular. Also, the students with higher marks in sketching or their sketches in their papers, they secured higher overall marks as compared to the students with poor sketching abilities. So let's discuss about the concepts and some assessments that we used in this paper. In terms of the concepts, the four criteria that we used for this paper, that is the sketches, visualization, attendance, and tutor's experience, they does not come from the blue. Rather, they were shortlisted based on a systematically retrieved literature, where 9 papers focused on sketches, 32 on visualization, and 12 on attendance, making a total of 47 performance-related research papers. However, while studying these papers, we also found out that tutor's experience is not a focus of the current research. So this is what we added to our case study to make it more novel and to add something to the body of knowledge. In terms of the sketches, the papers are focused on cognitive learning, freehand drawings, and conceptualization. The visualization related articles focused on 3D views, augmented and virtual realities, videos, and gaming in the class. Whereas the attendance related papers focused on affinities and alignments, the perceptions and expectations, and the motivations related to attending the classes. Once the student they achieve these performance contributors, the skills that they acquire include better usage of technology, more retention rates in the class, problem solving abilities, leadership skills, and ethical developments. As far as the composition of the course is concerned, we had 3 objectives for this course. That is to interpret the units of measurement and mechanics of solid, to demonstrate an understanding of fundamental concept of statics and dynamics, and to structurally design simple steel, concrete, and timber building elements using both simple calculations and design charts. For this purpose, the course was divided into two main components, that is statics and physics and design. In the statics and physics, the focus was on structure types and unit of measurements, statics, mechanics of solids, general loads, wind and earthquake loads. For the design section, the focus was on design of steel structure and design of concrete structure. Similarly, on your screens, you can see the distribution of the weekly course component, including the quizzes, the mid-semester and the final exams, as well as the individual assignments. To assess the students' sketches, we developed this criteria where the score of a category divided by the total criteria into the number of categories obtained give us the sketch marks. So the criteria are over here, that is the scaling, the essential components, linking, structural stability, visualization, and the sketches efforts. And these are the scores which are assigned based on these criteria. For example, excellent, good, average, and just acceptable from 1 to 4. So based on these, depending on where the student is falling in terms of the assessment criteria, they were given the scores accordingly for that specific sketch. In terms of the visualized material or the visualization components provided to the students in the class, we showed them different types of loadings and failures. For example, how a failure occur in shear, how a compression failure occur, how failure occur in buckling, and their relevant components. Similarly, we also showed them animations through which the loads and load components are transferred. For example, how the compression occurs, how the tension occurs, how the UDL or the uniformly distributed loads is transferred to the fixed support. Similarly, we also showed some visualization related to the connections that are subjected to angular loadings and as well as a possible excessive dynamic excitation of a composite bridge, which shows that most of the load is concentrated at the center of the bridge. These visualized components, they help the students to relate to the transfer mechanism for those forces and those loads and how they are transferred to the supports and how to efficiently design these structures to withstand these loads. So let's move towards the results of this paper, and for that we are going to go section by section. So the first one is related to attendance and engagements, and as they say, 80% of the success is just showing up. So if you show up to your classes, if you keep an attendance of above 75% or other criteria which is defined by universities, your own university, if you show up to your classes regularly, success is assured and is guaranteed. Similarly, when students improve their attendance rate, they improve their academic prospects and chances for graduation. So in terms of the attendance, as they say, attendance matters, or attend today and achieve tomorrow. I would rather say every day matters. That is, your school plus you, it guarantees the success. So in our case study paper, we observed that in 2017, the average marks scored by 41 students with less than 75% attendance were just around 53.35%. That is, they barely scored just half of the marks for the course and just passed the course. 9 students among them were declared as failed in the course, and thus giving a ratio of 22%. So 22% of these students who had an attendance lesser than 75%, they eventually failed the course. And on the other hand, only 4 out of those remaining 154 students who had good attendance, they failed the course. Now, there are reasons for that. We'll come back to that. But the average marks for the students with above 75% were around 67.4%. If you compare this with 53.3%, you can easily see or observe a gap of 14%. So this gap of 14% absolute marks is highlighted between the students with low and high attendances. Among the four underperforming students who were categorized as having good attendance, three did not submit the assignment, which was 40% weightage. So if they would have just submitted the assignment, they would have clearly passed the course by a good margin. So, the four students who failed among the 154 good attendance students was because they did not submit their assignments. Similarly, in 2018, 9 students of the 38 with attendance lower than 75%, they failed the course, giving a percentage of 23.68%. 10 out of the remaining 179, they failed the course, and this was just 5.5%. In 2018, the final marks are 57.89 and 67.32 for low and high attending students respectively. So as you can see, the students who are attending the courses regularly, their average is around 67% for their final marks, which is a good average considering that some of them they score HDs and others as well. So a gap of 10% in terms of overall marks is detected for the students in terms of the ones who have lower attendance and the ones with higher attendance. So if you attend your class more, at least 10% of overall increase in your marks is kind of guaranteed. We did not calculate the attendance for the year 2019. Now let's move towards the results of the sketches or the sketch assessments. As they say, if you can dream it, you can do it. That means the students with good visualization skills, good sketches and good sketch imagination skills, they eventually do better in their courses. This is at least what we assumed, and let's see what our results show. So in 2017, a total of 49 students, they scored 2 or below out of 4. The total marks for the sketches were 4. So 49 students, they scored 2 or below it. The average of their overall marks is around 59%. Whereas the students with above 2 marks are around 134 in total, and their average marks are 72% in total. So there is a clear difference of around 13% between their marks. Similarly, if we go to 2018, the average of the overall marks is 52.12% for students with 2 and below marks in the sketches, whereas the ones with more than 2 marks, that is 3 or 4 marks in their sketches, their average is around 72. In this year, a difference of 20% was observed. So overall, a gap of 14 to 22% is detected between the student groups who have lower marks in sketches compared to the ones who have higher marks in sketches. This validates our assumption and clearly highlights that if you can sketch well, if you can imagine well, if you have more imaginative powers, you will eventually do better in the courses such as construction and architecture. Last but not the least, let's discuss about the tutor's experience and let's see if the tutor's experience has any role to play in the student's performance. So, as they say, the mind once enlightened cannot again become dark, as Thomas Paine says. Similarly, as said by John Legend, experience is a great teacher. While we agree to these things that experience does matter, but we are not sure if the tutor's experience has anything to do with the student's performance. So we check this through our case study papers. So before we move into the results of the tutor's experience in students' performance, let's have a look at how many tutors we had for each session. In 2017, we had 6 tutors. 3 of them were fresh, while 3 were experienced. In 2018, we had a total of 7 tutors, where 3 were experienced and 4 were fresh. In 2019, we had 4 tutors, 2 each from both categories. So the results show that the fresh tutors, they outperformed the experienced one in 2017. The overall average of the students' performance for these fresh tutors is 67.4% final marks, like the total marks, whereas for experience, it was around 62.9%. Thus, a difference of around 4 to 5% overall marks exist. 8 students of the experienced tutors and 3 of these fresh tutors had lower attendance. So does it mean that the fresh tutors, they can help students have better performance? Well, we thought the same in 2017. However, opposite results are shown in 2018, which rejects this hypothesis or the assumption that fresh tutors may have better performance than experienced tutors. In 2017, so what's the issue then? Let's have a look at that. In 2017, 22.5% of the students were missing from the lectures of experienced tutors, compared to just 9.5% of the percentage of students from the fresh tutors. So the performance of experienced tutors students was not good as the fresh students, because there were greater amounts of lower attendance. Whereas in 2018, a total of 12.3% students missed the lectures of experienced tutors as compared to 25% of fresh tutor students. Thus, this time around, the performance of experienced tutors students was better than the fresh tutor students. So, what does it mean? It simply means that it does not matter how experienced your tutors is. What matters is how much you are involved in the course, how much you are attending the courses, and how much you yourself are participating in the class. Thus, attendance dictates the student performance instead of their tutor's experience. So, to sum it up, we observed the effects of visualizations, student sketches, their attendance, and tutors' experience on overall performance of the students. And our findings are that what matters the most is the attendance of the students. So the students who attend the courses more are bound to have better results. They generally show better results compared to the students with lower attendance. It does not matter how experienced your tutor is, rather what matters is how much you yourself are participating in the course and how involved you are in that course. With that, I would like to thank you all for listening to this video. Thank you so much and have a good day.